Hi guys, in this video I'll be talking about pulmonary tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is a disease caused by bacteria called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. The bacteria usually attack the lungs, but they can also damage other parts of the body. TB is of like three types, means basically we can divide them into three types, that is pulmonary, extrapulmonary and miliary. Pulmonary tuberculosis that occur to 80% of people, and in this tuberculosis, it primarily attacks lung, but it can spread to other parts of the body. Now, talking about extrapulmonary tuberculosis that occur 15 to 20% of times, affects mediastinal, retroperitoneal, and cervical lymph nodes. It also affects brain, spine, bones, kidneys, intestine, larynx, and genitals. Miliary TB occur when tubercle bacilli enter the bloodstream and are carried to all parts of the body. It is potentially fatal form of tuberculosis that results from massive lymphohematogenous dissemination. Now, the natural reservoirs of Mycobacterium tuberculosis are humans, and they transmit the virus through air droplets, and there is considerable amount of contact is required while transmitting. Now, the bacilli of Mycobacterium tuberculosis are phagocyted by alveolar macrophages cells when it comes into the lungs of the person, which then invade the underlying epithelium. Here, monocytes from the nearby blood vessels form the beginning of a granuloma, and that granuloma is hallmark characteristic of your tuberculosis. Within the granuloma, a core of infected macrophages is surrounded by foamy macrophages, mononuclear phagocytes, and also lymphocytes. The result is a fibrous capsule which has increased foamy macrophages, presumed to create the typical caseous debris. And this caseous debris resembles cheese, and although it appears contained immunologically, the caseous center tends to liquefy and form a cavity, and then it empties thousands of Mycobacterium tuberculosis bacilli into the airway, and then thus the cycle is completed. And when a person produces a cough, the thousands of your MTB released from that cough. Now, the infected macrophages that I talked about earlier, they can be carried to lymphatic system, lymph nodes, and then from lymph nodes to the kidneys, facets of long bones, and other areas of the body, which can cause your extrapulmonary tuberculosis. Infected macrophages may also be carried in the blood of an immunocompromised host, such as an AIDS patient, and that can cause miliary tuberculosis. After 3 to 8 weeks, there are no immediate symptoms or sign other than positive TB skin test. In immunocompromised patient, disease progresses quickly to pneumonia from hilar or mediastinal lymph node to cavitation in the bronchi. It is here that the distribution of cases may. In general, hypersensitivity developed during the 3 to 8 week period after infection, and in that period there are no immediate symptoms or signs as discussed above. Now, pulmonary TB has two morphologically distinct types, and first is primary and the other is secondary. The primary occurs in previously unexposed patient, and therefore it is an unsensitized and non-immune person. There is a gone focus seen in mid to lower lobes, and gone complex is also seen, consists of single granuloma and within parenchyma and hilar lymph nodes. Infection here does not progress, and then it can cause your progressively can cause your pneumonia. In secondary, reactivation occur in a previously sensitized individual. In uncompromised immunocompetent individual, it undergoes fibrosis and only leave a fibrocalcific scar. And in other, it can cause miliary TB and progress to your pneumonia. Now, talking about latent TB, and it occurs when a person breathes in bacteria and it reaches the air sacs of lung. Immune system then keep bacilli contained and under control, and the person is said to be not infected and has no. Now talking about clinical symptoms, as I said, it can be asymptomatic. There will be weight loss seen, chronic cough will be there, and there will be night sweat, anorexia, weakness, and fever. There will be also chest pain and hemoptysis, mean blood in your coughing, and there will be positive chest signs as well. And now, how you will identify the infection, how you will confirm your diagnosis of TB. So there are several ways. There is your chest X-ray. You can find hilar lymphadenopathy and calcification of the primary focus, and you can do your PPD, that is purified protein derivative test, and you can also check sputum for acid-fast bacillus, and also you can culture the sputum and find out the bacteria in it, and also by the method of PCR. There you can also do found by histopathological evidence. You can confirm by founding the granuloma. Now moving on to the PPD test, that is very important for us when to assess for the risk factors for tuberculosis. So we basically divide the outcomes into three categories. If it less than 5 mm, if it is less than 10 mm, and if it is less than 15 mm. If it is less than 5 mm, the patient may be HIV positive and maybe recently contacted an active TB patient. Or you will also observe on his chest X-ray nodular or fibrotic changes. The patient must be of organ transplanted, so may be receiving drugs that may be making him immunocompromised, and thus only a small indulation you will see. Now if the indulation is less than 10 mm, it may be the person will be from a high prevalent country or IV drug user, or will be live in congregation, and maybe if from a mycobacterial lab personnel that is exposed to too many microbacteriums. Now the children, infant children and adolescents are, if exposed to high risk categories, can show this, and children less than 4 years old show less than 10 mm of indulation. If the person show less than 15 mm of indulation, the person is of no risk, no known risk factors for TB. Now the GeneXpert test is important because it can detect the presence of tuberculosis bacteria, and it also can check the resistance of the drug rifampicin that is used as a treatment of your tuberculosis. It may be useful for diagnosing pulmonary bacteria in patients with a negative sputum of acid-fast bacillus pair. Now the abnormalities in the lungs when you observe in your X-ray will be seen in apical or posterior segments of upper lobe or superior segment, or superior segments of lower lobe. And the appearance of the chest X-ray is unusual in HIV patient, and you cannot confirm the diagnosis by the chest X-ray because 40% of the patients diagnosed TB from the chest X-ray do not have an active TB. Now in HIV patients, 70% of TB patients are mostly co-infected with HIV in many countries where tuberculosis is prevalent. So that's it for this video, and as always, thanks for watching.